Good morning, everybody. It's exactly 9 o'clock in the morning on the 14th, Monday, 14th of July, 2025, I guess. Put the year in because, you do this for a few years and you don't know when you did this one year to the next if you see a video. So, anyhow, but the events, the things that go on, I guess it defines the times. So, and we see, I don't know, can you call it the implosion of MAGA, or is MAGA something separate, or is it analogous to Donald Trump, or whatever? But today is Monday, and today he was supposed to announce this big news about something to do with Russia, and well, I don't know, let me stick to the script here. I'm gonna go try to find there's one bench where you can rest your back when you sit on it. Most people try to get this in this area, so I probably won't be able to sit on that one. Sit on it! Okay, but let's get into the news here. Nice weather here in Belarus first, I gotta tell you that. Okay, so everybody's coming out and speculating pretty much what it's going to be about. What Donald Trump is supposed to announce some big news about Russia, and most people agree it's probably going to be something about sanctions. But it's really some interesting little things surrounding Donald Trump's announcement. Because, well, obviously he's going to have to do some kind of damage control about losing a lot of his supporters for pulling this Epstein thing, trying to say, oh, now there is no clients list. First they all said, yes, there is, have it on my desk. And of course, it's been well known. And I guess it was put out when Epstein, in some earlier case, oh, somebody's sitting on that bench naturally over there. But it was put out in some earlier case that Epstein, Jeffrey Epstein, is a Mossad agent. He's an intelligence agent. And he obviously works for the CIA, and the CIA and the Mossad are in some ways very much linked. Just like the MI6. The only ones they really actually work against are the Russians, because they have this lifelong, I don't know, what I mean by lifelong as far as the countries are concerned. As long as the country of Great Britain exists, or the United States, they want to go after Russia. They've always wanted to go after Russia. So it's a hatred of Russia, definitely. Wanting to collapse Russia, get in there, take up over all the resources, and yeah, enslave the people. That's, a lot of Russians know that. Look, I don't think I want to sit on this bench. I think I saw this already a week or so ago. Makes you wonder why nobody's reported it. And this guy over here, of course, just sitting there, he took that bench. So I guess I gotta, and there's some people doing work over here making noise, so I can't go over there. I gotta see if there's another bench over there. It's near the road, making noise, so I'll head over that way. Okay, so Donald Trump, he's already announced well over 300 million he's going to send to Ukraine that has nothing to do with Joe Biden's promises of lots of money. And there's a heck of a lot more that he's going to be sending. Europe has already promised billions of dollars. Donald Trump is hinting at billions of dollars to Ukraine. Zelensky is in euphoria right now. There's a bench over there, maybe. Looks like even a table over there. Hey, that's pretty nifty. I never saw that before in this area. Really weird, they haven't done the grass here for a while. Very, very strange. I don't know what's going on lately. I saw other places somewhere nearby and they had tall grass as well and some weeds. Look at this. This is incredible. This is not like Belarus. It looks more like Germany, to be honest with you. I wonder what it's like in Germany normal times like this. This is, of course, just grown in a very short time. Okay, found ourselves a good place here. Hanging out in the kids, oh boy, somebody's ruining these benches or something. Hanging out in the kids' playground. Terrible. Oh my. And the table's weird. Should report this to somebody. Okay, let's keep going here. I was jogging and I'm actually kind of soaking wet. I hope you guys don't mind. I don't smell. That's one good thing, I don't stink. I don't ever stink. What a good thing to put on a YouTube video. Okay, so he's announced, like, what is it, 350 million? Joe Biden, seems like at least every month he was always passing out compliments of the US taxpayer, 300 and some million, 350, 375 million, every certain weeks to Ukraine. And of course that's alongside of what the United States, no matter who is president, for a long, long time have always given billions to Israel. No questions asked, never have to pay it back. And it really makes you wonder. I mean, you have to think, having the world's reserve currency and just to be making money with a printing press out of thin air, and but they never give the American people this kind of money. Just doesn't make any sense. And it's pretty much been put out that all the retirement pay for Ukrainians is paid by the United States. Thank you, American taxpayer, for paying all the retirement pay of all the Ukrainian people. Boy, it makes you wonder how this stuff comes about. But anyhow, you can understand Israel, how it works about with Israel. They created this scheme, and I've talked about it so many times. They send at least, at a minimum, $4 billion every single year to Israel, and a lot of that money flows back for campaign contributions for the politicians. So obviously the politicians keep on voting to keep sending that money, and then they always vote that Israel does not have to pay this money back. So it just continues, and it goes over and over again, and then it's goes to AIPAC, and it's undeniable fact. Israel, for the most part, owns the United States. It's not who has the most power, the American people, the constituents, or Israel. And it's very, very obvious. Israel has far more power with the government of the United States. I'm talking about the Israeli government, has far more power over the government of the United States than the voters do in America. It's absolutely incredible. It's undeniable. It's a very sad fact, and it's very easily proven. That's why you're looking at all these crazy things that go on, and you look at it. I mean, you come over to Belarus, and you know why these politicians do what they do, because it all makes sense. But you go to the United States or to Great Britain or a lot of these countries, and you wonder, well, why in the heck are they doing this crap? It's detrimental to the country and to the people, and yet they keep on doing this stuff. And they just steal a bunch of money and they start passing it out to wherever, But they don't do that over here. They don't just pass it out to to other countries and to very, there might be some corrupt money. I have no idea. I'm not privy to all the information. But they don't waste the money. Part of that is having the world's reserve currency. You can just print up as much money as you want. Don't worry. Your children, your grandchildren, great-grandchildren, they're going to pay it all back. Somebody at some point in time, just keep, what do they say, kick the can down the road, pass the buck, whatever. The future generations, they'll take care of it, Who knows? Boy, oh boy. Everybody keeps talking about a reckoning coming with all the huge, massive debt. And then Elon Musk was exposing some things. I don't know if it's really true. Trillions of dollars to build submarines, and no submarines are built. I don't know. Sometimes that sounds too far-fetched. You never know. You never know. And then all these pallets full of, stacked up to your chest, in bubble plastic or whatever, found in Afghanistan, going to who knows where. Real cold hard cash, not even a couple of clicks on the computer board, sending $1 billion and 10 billion here. Oh my God, it makes you really wonder. And I think, what is it, as far as the amount of debt for American taxpayers, each man, woman, and child in America owes $103,000 in order to pay, and I don't even know what that debt is. Is that the deficit? The yearly deficit, or is that the debt, the national? I don't know. So much debt. Anyhow, but let's keep going to what I was actually getting at here. So, Donald Trump, he's sending at least this 350 million. A lot of this is supposed to be, and he says, we're going to send patriots. But I'll get to that as well sometimes when he said this stuff. And a lot of this is supposed to be that they're given some of these weapons, and that this money actually stays in the United States, and it's in a way for Ukraine and not, and some part, but there's just way too much money in other places, not counting this 350 million or whatever it is that's also for Ukraine in some form or another, but it's a lot more that they're sending over there, and in a different ways. And this minerals deal, who knows what that's all about. I think Lindsey Graham was talking yesterday, trillions of dollars, with trillions. I think Lindsey Graham has got his brain, he sits on his brain, I think. How does he friggin' know? He's a friggin' idiot. Lindsey Graham is a stupid idiot that just loves war and killing and violence and collecting a bunch of money and getting campaign contributions from all of his defense contractors and all of that. I don't know. Lindsey Graham, he's got his own little psychological problems, and like as Donald Trump obviously has his own too. We can see that he's some kind of a power trip egomaniac. The greatest economy that's ever existed. Look at these hands, these beautiful hands. We have the greatest and the most powerful military. 1 month after I took office, they're all of a sudden the greatest. When Biden had them, they were the worst. Just because I waved my magic wand and it's the greatest. We have weapons that nobody has ever seen before. Blah, 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 blah. And, but anyway, let's keep going. So Ukraine has got a whole bunch of F-16s apparently now. At least a lot of people have promised them. I think Denmark promised a lot of F-16s. United States was promising some, and then a lot of the parts and things. You never know really what is really going on and what's fake news anyway. Sometimes it sounds official and it isn't. It's a lie. But anyhow, and I think they've lost a few of these F-16s. I've never heard about them actually doing anything yet. It maybe is a wise thing if they actually are getting these F-16s. They're a formidable airplane. Maybe they can't match some of the great Russian ones at the moment, but I don't know if any of them can. But there's any sort of a circumstance can cause you to be victorious, maybe in air fights, or not get shot down, or who knows what all. I don't know. I'm not a pilot. So the United States has already sent the ATACMS. France and the UK have sent their storm shadows are over there. Looks like everything is getting geared up. Everything is escalating. They're sending more and more, and a lot more money is getting escalated. Sometimes you wonder, do they even have these things? Can they make these things? Some people say they can't. Anyway, it's supposed to be escalations, and of course they're building more factories and making more and more bombs as time goes by in the West. All over the United States is really gearing up too, and you can imagine that they would be. And you hear all of this stuff about the Taurus. So when I was writing this, I was reading one article, and it says that Germany has decided they are sending Taurus missiles, long-range missiles, and of course maybe these are maybe even better than ATACMS or anything that the United States sent. I don't really know. Probably not as good as the Iskander and some of the other ones that the Russians have, but formidable in any case. And Russia has actually been warning them over and over again. You say that, you send this stuff, and you're going to be a party to the conflict, and you know what that entails. You're going to be directly involved in the war. And I think in those kind of cases, Russia's going to say, screw Article 5 of NATO, and Germany, pay the price, if that's going to be the case, but we never know. And we see Donald Trump's one of the most ironic things. There's some projection, but I talk a little bit more about that throughout this little spiel here that I'm doing right now. But he's talking with Russia, and and Russia obviously appreciates that. Biden didn't talk at all. I don't know who's the one that started that. I think it was George W. Bush, when he declared somebody that your opponent or your enemy. You just stop talking to them. Yeah, brilliant. That's how are you going to reach peace? You're not going to reach peace. Then you're tiptoeing on glass all over the place, trying to make sure that you don't get your feet cut. And you also see Donald Trump was talking to Iran. He was negotiating with Iran, and then he bombed them. He bombed them during the negotiations. Iran didn't look at that very, very favorably at all. So they broke off, and they said, well, what's the point? You're negotiating, right in the middle of negotiations, they bomb you. They do a sneak attack and they bomb you. And That's a precedent. You see that that's Donald Trump's behavior. And mark my words, the Russians are looking at that. And the Russians are still trying to keep things civil. You know how Vladimir Putin is a very calm, and I don't know, what is that word? He's reserved. He's very calm. I would call Putin definitely a moderate. And any kind of attempts anybody might want to make on getting rid of Vladimir Putin, you know, you better be ready for whoever is going to take Putin's place if you're going to do that. What are you going to get? Maybe Dmitry Medvedev, and I don't think he is going to be as reserved as Vladimir Putin. That's just my projection, but he's not stupid either. Okay, I'm going to have a little bit more to say about that. Donald Trump talking to you, negotiating with you, and at the same time he bombs you. So wait till you hear what Donald Trump said. Gosh. Okay. Most of us following this geopolitics stuff suspect that Trump's announcement about Russia is going to be secondary sanctions. You know, Lindsey Graham has been talking them up. Lindsey Graham he's actually a very happy guy at the moment. You know, any of these guys that are kind of getting their wish, you know, they're very, very happy. Like Zelensky. Zelensky is in euphoria right now. So is Lindsey Graham. These people are very happy. And that should tell you one thing. That should tell you that you pretty much know what Donald Trump is talking about right now. So I think this bill is in front of the Senate right now. I haven't really been following it. I've just been seeing Lindsey Graham coming out very, very happy in the press right now. And he's apparently, he has probably been releasing already what Donald Trump is supposed to be announcing today. So it's already been probably pre-released. So, and it's about secondary sanctions. And I think I put it in here. If not, I'm hoping I remember before I end this what Lindsey Graham is saying. Okay. And Trump, obviously, he's no friend of Russia's, and he never has been a friend of Russia. And just talking to Russia, that's as far as it goes. But he is out to destroy Russia just as much as any of the other ones are. And you see how Donald Trump, he works out. He's talking to you. I don't want to try to spill the beans on what Donald Trump basically just said, but it's I guess it's the definition of projection. So Donald Trump, I'll say it, even though I have it a little bit further on in my notes here. Donald Trump said that Putin will be talking to you very friendly and then bomb you. And it's like, gee, isn't that exactly what Donald Trump does? You know? And I'm hearing Donald Trump say this. Maybe he's going to get in an airplane or something like that, talking to reporters, wearing his funny hats. The people are burning, by the way. They Make America Great. I guess there's some people sticking them on a barbecue and throwing them in there. These Make America Great hats, and they're burning them now. You know, some of his former supporters, pretty much disgusted by this guy. You know, I said in yesterday's video, Donald Trump, he thinks we're all stupid. He thinks you're stupid, that you're totally stupid, that you will just go along with anything he says. He can say exactly the opposite one day that he just said the next day, and you're going to just go, oh, okay, I'll buy that, you know. What an insult. What an insult. He may as well just come out and say, you're all stupid. You'll just go with anything I tell you. One day I can say one thing, I'll say exactly the opposite the next day, and you'll go along with it. So Donald Trump, he's coming out now with his projection and saying that Putin talks friendly to you and he bombs you. Well, who is he friggin' talking? Did he bomb the United States? He's talking friendly with Trump. Is he talking friendly with Zelensky? No. Who else is Putin bombing? Ukraine and and Zelensky, he just talks about, you know, just spewing out spit and vinegar and saying how Russians are species, you know. And Putin, he's not talking friendly to Zelensky. You know, he wants negotiation, but he has some goals, and he's been stating those goals from the very, very beginning, and he has never deviated from those goals. So so Trump, he's just given himself an excuse to do what he's going to be probably announcing today, and we'll all find out what that is. So, okay. But anyway, hinting at the fact yesterday, you all know this anyway, that Israel controls the United States. And it's sort of like, I remember like Joe Biden when he was vice president, and I mentioned this in this video yesterday, and he said that he told Poroshenko, the president of Ukraine, to fire that chief prosecutor who was investigating his son. And son of a bitch, she did it, you know. And but you know, I've been watching this for quite a while, you know, being an older guy, you know, I'm 26 years old now, as you guys know. Same age as, I don't know, however old Jackson Hinkle is, because I identify with Jackson Hinkle, so I'm his age. So whatever that might be. I think it's 26, anyhow. And then I've been around a while. But I've been, you know, you're watching a lot of these former, like Ehud Barak or whatever, he was a former prime minister or whatever, leader of Israel. And these people, they get up and they order the United States, and they even have video footage of a lot of these people. Ariel Sharon, remember Sharon? He was the leader of Israel. Ehud Barak, and I think he might have been a better one. But anyways, there's some of these guys, and they tell the United States to do something, and then they have video recordings of them sitting out in front of people and laughing and telling how they control the United States, how they tell them what to do. The president of the United States, I told him to do that, and laughing about it. And the United States, it's not like they never saw these things. And to Donald Trump, you know, it's the strangest thing. Benjamin Netanyahu, he has Trump apparently wrapped around his little finger many, many times. It's incredible. It's incredible. And then some other people, I said this immediately, and other people, of course, picked up on it. You know, you have Benjamin Netanyahu recommending Donald Trump for a Nobel Peace Prize. So you have the most evil, satanic, warmonger person on planet Earth, Benjamin Netanyahu, electing Donald Trump for the Nobel Peace Prize. The most evil, warmongering person on the planet, the biggest killer, mass killer, nominating somebody. I mean, it's like if I were Donald Trump, but Donald Trump, I don't know if he has much of a conscience anyway. I think he does, but in different areas, but not when it comes to politics. Only when it comes to maybe people's personal lives. But he doesn't necessarily care so much about people dying, even though he comes out and says he does. I am honest to God, I don't think that Donald Trump cares that much about people dying. So why is he giving all these bombs to Israel to kill thousands and thousands and thousands of people, tens of thousands of children, you know? And lying, and it's not like the CIA or people don't know that he is lying. He's lying over and over again. He kills his own Israelis and says that Hamas is doing it. You know, it's just like Donald Trump, you know. You know what they do? They stand, you're looking at this playground right over here. You know, you're standing up on that one part over there, you know, and somebody's sitting down below, and the guy on the top is peeing. He's pissing on the head of the person down below and telling them it's raining. You know, that's what these leaders do. That's what Benjamin Netanyahu does. And Donald Trump, apparently he's turned out to be the same way. There is no clients list, even though we've been telling you for years that there is. Even investigations, and people say they've seen these things. You know, and you have Elon Musk. He put out some sort of a tweet, and I guess he pretty much destroyed Donald Trump with some one-line sentence. Something, you know, about letting all of these criminals that are sexing little kids and stuff and letting them go scot-free, nothing happening to them. And of course, one projection is that Donald Trump, you know, Donald Trump is big for leverage. What he's probably going to do, he's probably holding this. He has these tapes, and he's maybe going to be holding these people accountable. Maybe, you know. So maybe this is, I tell you what, a very, very, very strong possibility. Say, just for example, say it's Billy Fencepost, Billy Bates, say a software engineer, say the guy's name is Bates, Billy Bates, and say Billy Bates goes and has sex with some kids, and they have some video footage of that, and then this Billy Bates wants to say invax something, or invent something called just say some vaccine or something. This is all just, I'm just making this stuff up, you know, and this vaccine is not considered safe, even though Donald Trump in his warp speed thinks that something is safe when it's not. In other words, that's just fantasy, what I'm talking about, completely. And but anyway, and say if you're a president, say you're a president with conscience, and you don't want this vaccine to be released because it kills people and it's very bad. What kind of animal is this over here? Looks like a cat. I'm gonna walk over here just to look at this cat. It's really slowly creeping. You guys want to see it? But anyway, say you don't want this stuff to be happening, and so you hold this above them. Well, I can release some of this footage of you with a kid, and then have you go in front of a court or blah blah blah, and so you won't don't come up with this vax. I'm just using it as a stupid example, but anything like that, and but Donald Trump likes that word too, leverage. Maybe leverage. Hey kitty, you okay? Are you a nice kitty? Not scared? I'll just stay right here. How you doing? Huh? Real stealthy, that cat. I was watching and I'm seeing something slowly going through the grass. Maybe looking for some mice. I don't know. So anyhow, but if you look at all of the past presidents, and you listen, and you've all been listening to Benjamin Netanyahu for all these years, and I don't know if it's Benjamin Netanyahu, but there's been people, they've been saying, oh, Iran, they started in the 1980s, and I swear to you, I think it was like 1984 when I saw, it was written in some article, Iran is building a nuclear bomb, and Benjamin Netanyahu, a lot of people are saying, oh, he's been saying that since 1996, saying Iran is 2 weeks away from a nuclear bomb, but let me see, what was I saying here? Blah, blah, what was I leading up to? Wait. But Benjamin Netanyahu, since he's been in there, he's been wanting, he's been dreaming, he fantasizes, he has his wet dreams at night, wanting to get the United States to bomb Iran. He wants a war between the United States and Iran. He wants Iran obliterated, and you see him coming out on these things and say, oh, we love the people, we love this ancient culture of Iran. No, he doesn't. He wants it destroyed. Benjamin Netanyahu is a very, very sick man. He's a very sick man. I mean, I don't know. That's another story. But anyhow, he wants it destroyed. He wants Iran destroyed. He wants them bombed to the Stone Age. And if you look at like Barack Obama, you can maybe go back, I don't know, George Bush, Barack Obama, Joe Biden, whatever. I don't know, maybe even before that. And none of these presidents have succumbed to Israel to bomb Iran. And then you look at this guy who's in there now, and what is this guy? On one hand, I don't know, maybe history will tell. Is Donald Trump a wimp? Is he weak? Is he the first one weak enough to succumb to Benjamin Netanyahu and Israel to actually bomb Iran? Is he stupid? Is he completely stupid? I mean, and he's talking about the reputation of the United States. Well, what does that do? Especially when he plans to be, and told everybody that he is the peace president. He's peeing on you and telling you it's raining. I mean, what a friggin' insult. I mean, any of us that had hope that Donald Trump was actually going to make things better in the world, he's already dashed it. He's thrown it in the toilet. He's defecated on it and he's flushing it down. I mean, boy, oh boy, oh boy. He might be worse than anybody else in the deep state. I mean, because he actually did bomb Iran. And now, what is he doing? Did he cover up all of the Epstein criminals? I don't really know. Like I said, is he gonna use this stuff as leverage? Is this gonna be coming out slowly? And maybe a lot of people are gonna disrespect him for that too. I don't know. It's just, he wants to be the big hero. He wants 5 Nobel Peace Prizes, the greatest in history. I mean, come on, man. He wants to be on Mount Rushmore. I don't know. This guy with his ego. You got another big ego, you got Zelensky. Zelensky perfectly willing to send hundreds of thousands of his people to certain death, and just waiting and holding on, waiting to draw the United States and the rest of everybody into this war to go against Russia. And Russia has some nuclear weapons. I mean, and not only that, they've got Orishnik. And Orishnik is now in mass production. If I were Russia, I would have 5 factories building Orishniks right now. I would be having 1,000 Orishniks as fast as possible. I would have 1,000 of them, you know. That does have no fallout, you know, not radioactive. They're hypersonic, very destructive, and I think that's a much more viable deterrent, you know, than nuclear weapons. I think anybody that uses nuclear weapons is probably really stupid. They have now these tactical nukes. They're not a very good thing either. Anyhow, but it's, and you have some people, you give it to Zelensky in Ukraine, and they're going to use them. They're going to use the nuclear weapons. So you guys all know that. There's no doubt about that. So let's keep going here. Okay. Some guys, they probably got a bottle in there. I don't know. It's a weekday. Who knows? Okay. Guy was looking at me right when I point the camera over there. Okay. But anyway, Donald Trump, he opened up Pandora's box and he went ahead and bombed Iran. So you're probably going to see it in the future. They're already talking about it. Israel and the United States are talking about the next bombing of Iran, you know, because they didn't destroy their nuclear program. It's been put out, and I don't know. Anyway, that's all. It's strange because I think Iran has put out, they're not even sure on how much destruction has been caused to their, you know, nuclear enrichment program, but yet the CIA says they know. Really? Which is BS. Okay, the elephant in the room. So, I guess that's what you would call that, the elephant in the room about what Trump is doing, maybe like protecting these people that had sex with little kids, you know, and I don't understand if this really is children, you know, and what is a child? I don't know. In some countries, I've mentioned before that the age of consent is 13 years old, and you know, you see sometimes I've seen 14-year-old girls that seem to have a little bit more awareness of what's going on in the world and everything than sometimes somebody who's in their 30s. So it all depends on the people. And then I once I went out, I don't even remember on how old I was. I was much, I don't know, I was 12 years older, and I just went out one time with a 20-year-old, and maybe I was 32 or something like that. And you know, I kind of I didn't like that at all anyway. And then I found out, you know, going out, I said, I don't want anything to do with this, you know, too childish for me, you know. And like I said, I've seen younger girls that are a little bit more mature than that, and it was like, I don't know. So anyhow, leverage. You don't have any cards, you know. You'd have a dog in the fight or not? Do you have any cards? You don't have any cards, Mr. Zelensky. Donald Trump, I guess he's got a lot of cards on a lot of those people. Now that might be the whole thing, what this is all about. I don't know. Makes you wonder also what are the cards that Netanyahu has on Trump? Oh no, here comes a garbage truck. Some people walking here. Okay. And of course Trump needs a distraction. All these people decided the garbage truck wants to go that way. He wants a distraction, of course, against what's going on with this Epstein crap. You know, he'll do anything because somebody, who was it, coming out and said, I think some big supporter of him, I can't even remember who it was. Maybe it was Bannon, I don't know, Steve Bannon. I don't know, they said it's not going to go away, you know. And Donald Trump, you still talking about this? Are you still talking about, I mean, it was the very next day after this stuff came out. Are you still talking about this as if it's a month old when it's only 1 day old? Donald Trump is trying to bury this so fast because he knows how much it hurts him. It takes away his credibility, you know. So he needs a victory of some sorts, in other words. So I guess part of this victory, maybe he's going to threaten Russia, you know. And it makes you really wonder. Some people don't have anything against Russia, and he's going to come out and say, well, I'm going to sock it to Russia. Lindsey Graham, we'll hear what he has to say already. Are you still talking about that? I don't think he fooled anybody with his, are you still talking about that? You know, thinks that everybody doesn't have any brain cells at all. And now you got like Pam Bondi and Kash Patel. Everybody's lost a lot of faith in those people, saying one thing and completely the opposite the other day. Boy, oh boy, 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 boy. Okay. Yes, sadly, Trump's a sick guy as well. I think did Donald Trump ever say that after he's leaves the bathroom it doesn't stink? I don't know. He sometimes is acting now. I guess he wants to be in the position of Yertle the turtle. You know Yertle the turtle, the Dr. Seuss thing, when the turtle, all these turtles stacked up and there's Yertle is on the top and the tower falls down. Makes you wonder what is going to happen to Donald Trump, the master of the universe. He wants to be the master of the universe, obviously. A unipolar world. And there's some really crazy stuff coming out, I'll tell you right now too. Donald Trump is out to destroy BRICS. He already was threatening that. And he's very, very angry. He's very angry about BRICS, as you all know. He's going after, I mentioned yesterday, he's going after Brazil. And now, I have this quote from Lindsey Graham. I'll get to that here. Okay. 5 Nobel Peace Prizes. Donald Trump, he's almost saying like he's immortal. But everybody's getting sick. We're getting sick of Zelensky already, you know, going around begging for money and weapons, you know. Germans had this video, the Russians, die, 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 which means give. And they have 100 Zelenskys going, die, 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 die. Give me money, give me money, give me money, give me money, give me some houses. I want houses in your, I want to get another mansion. I need 10 more mansions in your country. I want my billions and billions of dollars. There is no doubt probably that Zelensky is much richer than Donald Trump. You know, I don't know, this projection that he has more than 10 billion, he's probably way above 10 billion. Some people might put Zelensky close to Elon Musk, I don't know, in wealth. So who knows? Okay, you get sick of all these people. They're sick of, not just Zelensky, sick of Macron. We have visitors here from France right now. They're sick of Macron. The British are sick of Starmer. I don't know, his approval ratings are in the teens. He's got even worse than Liz Truss, a worse approval rating. Maybe after his, I don't know if it was when he was kind of present with the cocaine sort of a stuff. Riding that train, high on cocaine. Casey Jones, you better watch your speed. You know, that was Macron and Merz, you know, with whatever the heck they were doing, stuff wrapped in that napkin. You know, it wasn't a baggie, it was something wrapped in a napkin. They were trying to hide things, and that little spoon, a very strange spoon that Merz tried to hide there, you know. Mr. Egghead, I don't know. And, but anyway, I think they got Starmer with the Bum Boys. Katie Hopkins talking about I think it was a short maybe, and she talked about Starmer and his bum boys, the Ukrainian bum boys, you know, 3 of them. I think Starmer refused to pay them, I guess was the deal. So they were torching his property or something, his cars and house. I have no idea, because I don't know. I guess maybe he did. I don't know. Did he go to Zelensky's? Epstein's island? I don't know if Epstein had boys there. Starmer apparently and Zelensky, they prefer the boys, little boys rather than the little girls. And I tell you what, a bunch of sick people, really, really sick people, you know, and they're our leaders. They are our leaders. Lead by example, I guess. Jeez. So, Merz, apparently, I don't know, it's like he ignores these warnings from Russia, you know, of what's going to happen if these storm, or these towerists go through. So he's like saying, I don't know if he's actually going to go through with this. It's going to be like he's telling Russia, I dare you. We're going to send Ukraine these missiles where Germans are the ones that have to push the button to fire deep into Russia. But remember, Merz, he was a big agent of BlackRock, you know, which is the most powerful company on planet Earth, you know, multinational, and who knows. You know, you used to think that somehow the what is it called, the Rothschilds were the richest, but apparently BlackRock is even richer. They're richer than most countries, BlackRock. And Merz was their agent, and he brought BlackRock into Germany big time. Big time, big time, big time. So he might be just working for BlackRock right now. And of course, you know, they probably are, you know, enough invested into Ukraine, buying up a lot of the farmland and things that maybe they've seen a way, maybe we can salvage this. So let's see if we can maybe win the war, which is not going to happen. I guess they don't have any real war analysts working in BlackRock. You would think they would. So yes, they might not want to cut their losses. And the mineral wealth. A lot of people are now coming out and still saying, you know, like Lindsey Graham, trillions of dollars, you know, but it's apparently not trillions in any way. It's not 1 trillion even. Maybe you get up to billions, but apparently Russia controls a lot of that area where all those minerals are located at, and wherever, you know, Ukraine has that land, I guess it's not going to be very rich there, like they're saying. A lot of indications are saying this. So Zelensky, he trumped Donald Trump, I guess, when it comes to the minerals. So I don't know. We'll see. Yes. Donald Trump has been projecting, I guess, while saying that he's angry, like I said, about Putin. And he's also been putting out that he wants to destroy BRICS. So you got to look at all these little indications about Donald Trump. He's a very irrational, radical, and unstable guy. Anyway, Donald Trump, as you all already noticed. So he wants to have a fabulous legacy. Wants to be the peace president, which he's pretty much gone on that right now. I guess he can forget that one. He obviously wants to collapse Russia. He wants to destroy BRICS. He wants Nobel Prizes. Yeah, I don't know. Is his announcement? It might even be a nothing burger. He might not have anything. Maybe that was just a distraction, hoping that the Epstein thing will cool down after 5 or 6 days, and then when he announces it, it won't be anything that we don't already know. Maybe that's one reason why Lindsey Graham has, you know, put out these things. I don't know. Yes. So, Zelensky, he put out, what was it? He put out this morning, was it yesterday late, that he's going to escalate against Russia. He's really emboldened now, because he believes now, and a lot of people are saying now Zelensky has a lot more control over Donald Trump. You know, after that little blow-up thing in the White House, I guess things have reversed. So Zelensky is emboldened right now. Good looking. And Trump, that's some big news. Trump is now considering billions for Ukraine. He's thinking, and I guess Bessent, the Secretary of the Treasury, he is deciding he wants not only to take the profits of the money that they have frozen from Russia, but he wants to take part of the principal. So instead of just sending Zelensky, and of course the United States takes a lot of that as well, instead of just sending this money, you know, from the interest gained on this money that they're holding, they're going to take some of the principal and be sending it to Ukraine. But of course they take a major portion of it themselves. So, you know, makes you really wonder what Russia's going to think about that. And I don't know if they have this presidential drawdown fund or whatever they're talking about, and something, maybe it was from the Biden time, and I was assuming that all this money that Biden had promised to Ukraine is just now about out, but apparently there's like $3.85 billion, you know, as well. So anyway, Trump is looking at flooding Ukraine with lots of money, lots of weapons. Who knows what the heck is going on? But as I'm saying now, there's some reports, and I think somebody said Pistorius, the Minister of Defense for Germany, they said that he is saying that they're not going to send Taurus missiles. But one thing you have to remember, at the very beginning, after Friedrich Merz became the Chancellor of Germany, he said he is going to send them covertly. So this might have all now just come around in a full circle, and it's actually going to be just like the way Merz says it. They're going to say they're not sending it, but they're going to do it. You know, like Jesus said, know them by their fruits, not by their words necessarily. Jesus didn't say the word part, but basically that's what he's talking about. Recognize the make of a person by what they do and not just what they say. So sometimes words are weapons, as you heard from that song from, what is it, In Excess from Australia. Words are weapons, makes you wonder how the other half dies. Okay. So Lindsey Graham, he said, he came out, you know, I don't know why he wants to shoot his big mouth off, or maybe, does he keep secrets? He sounds like some tattletale wants to run at this time, I don't know. He said that this is the most significant sanctions package in history. What is going to happen to Russia? So these, 20 rounds of sanctions, however many they have against Russia already, from the European Union, and now the United States is supposed to be coming with sanctions from hell. I guess maybe they were calling that before, the sanctions from hell. I don't know. It's all, up till this time, it's just making Russia stronger. You know, they're going into their own production. But I think what Lindsey Graham is talking about, as you guys have already heard, it's called secondary sanctions. So anybody who deals with Russia is going to be sanctioned, because the sanctions aren't working against Russia. So it makes you really wonder if some of these other countries, and of course you know who these other countries are, India and China, and they've already started on Brazil, but of course it's aimed at mostly India and China at this point in time, and not South Africa. He said something already about Ramaphosa, or whatever, the leader of South Africa. I don't know, he's trying to embarrass him in the White House too. Anyway, Donald Trump hates that. And of course, as you noticed just a couple of days ago, he's taking shots at Lula da Silva of Brazil. So Donald Trump is going big time after BRICS right now. He's trying to knock down all the BRICS. So let's see what else. So Lindsey Graham said the biggest sanctions, the most significant sanctions package in history is what he said. He said it's aimed at India and China for trade with Russia. Graham, let's see. Okay, Graham's words were, China, India, Brazil, you will suffer if you keep helping Russia. So this is all out to get the entire BRICS. And you can't help but noticing that maybe the BRICS are not a bunch of stupid people, that they seem to realize, you know, that if they comply with the sanctions from Lindsey Graham and Donald Trump or whatever, then BRICS is actually gone, because it's not just aimed at going after Russia, it's going to go after them as well. So it's going to be a very interesting time. This is going to be a very interesting time if Donald Trump actually does follow through with what Lindsey Graham is talking about. Boy, it's going to be the beginning of something here. So, also, a couple weeks ago, as you noticed, Friedrich Merz, he was thrilled about Israel bombing and killing those people in Gaza. He has his own words for that. He says, Israel is doing the dirty work for us. And it's like, well, you know, about Israel probably bombing Iran. That was mostly what he meant. But nobody said anything about them killing and bombing all those children and innocent people in Gaza. These people, they just don't care. That's what that sickens me, and it's disgusting about these Western politicians. They really don't care. They really don't care about a lot of lives. Maybe they care about if somebody's killing their voters, people that vote for them. and that is it, or they're potential voters. They don't give a crap about anybody else in the rest of the world. Look at Zelensky now. He suspended the election, so he doesn't even care about what his own people think about the vote. You saw Annalena Baerbock. She was not even elected as, what is this? Was she the Minister of Defense for Germany? Which doesn't make sense. I mean, it just surprises me anyway about Annalena Baerbock. She's like no intellect at all. I don't know what she's good at, but she's not good at what was when she was a diplomat. Like, she doesn't have the brain for that. I don't know, maybe she's a whiz in calculus or physics or something. I don't have the faintest idea, but she's terrible in the position that she had. I don't know. These people, all these Western politicians disgust me anyway. Okay, so Merz was thrilled about everything, and now he's saying that his words pretty much in German were, "I am now not happy about it." I should have wrote down in German what he said, but I saw it on a video thing. And you figure that one out, Maybe he was getting some flack about the stuff that he said about supporting Israel, and now he got some flack from that, so he's doubling back and saying exactly the opposite now, just like Donald Trump. I don't know. So I think maybe what Merz and a lot of these people actually are very happy about is people actually, to be honest with you, and that, am I even allowed to say this, that Bill Gates is actually thrilled about this. He wants to reduce the world's population, as he said. He's talking about 15%, and I've mentioned in these videos some things about what that means about this 15%. It's really strange. Just out of coincidence. And we all know it's not true. We know it's not true, that some whistleblower that worked at Pfizer said that out of a vat of 100 vaccines, that only 15 of them are the actual vaccine and all the rest of them are placebos, because, and if you just consider like if it happened to be an experimental vaccines, just consider, this is just an example, and they wanted to test it, you can't make all of them the vaccine in case it really is bad, and a whole, and massive amounts of people would like bite the dust or have some really bad effects from it. I mean, you don't want that to happen. So, 15, I don't know. It's just a mere coincidence that Billy Gates was saying that at maximum, if the vaccines were so effective, we can reduce the world's population by 15%. I'm thinking, what? Reduce it? Isn't vaccines supposed to save people's lives, to protect you from a illness? And don't let me. I don't know. I'm just not. I'm messed up. I don't know what I'm thinking about right now. So, boy, oh boy. Okay. So. Okay, those words from Trump, it was absolutely incredible. And I'm sitting there thinking, what the heck? He's describing himself, but his name is not Putin, it's Donald Trump. He said, talks nice, and then he bombs everybody. That's what Donald Trump's words. He talks nice to Putin. He says Putin talks nice, and then he bombs everybody. Isn't that what Donald Trump was doing with the Iranians? And the Iranians didn't really like that so much. And I'm saying, well, where did Putin do that? Was he talking nice to Zelensky? They're not even talking at all. So when did Putin do that? It seems to me that Donald Trump did that. I mean, how much do you have to spell this stuff out? Projection. That is like the definition of projection. So Donald Trump, talk about disgusting. I mean, the guy shouldn't friggin' open up his stupid mouth because he makes himself look even worse every time. Disgusting guy. I used to like Donald Trump. Maybe I like him on one side, but his side, he shouldn't be the president. He's just messing everything up. I don't know. He's not as bad as Satan Yahoo, but Donald Trump, you give too much power to a little child like that. Like it's like this movie. Watch this Indiana Jones movie. I don't even know which one it was. They had this little boy, and he was the Maharaja or something like that. I don't know. Didn't even have his voice changed yet. His balls didn't drop yet, and he's the leader of whatever it is. I don't know. In the movie, some little fictitious country or India or whatever, like it was in the Indiana Jones movie. And Donald Trump seems to somehow have the mind of a teenager. I don't know. So anyway, Donald Trump says he's going to give the patriots. Oh, I bet Russia is shaking in their boots. You know, he's going to give patriots to Ukraine. Well, I guess Russia's saying, "Oh God, wow, I hope he is." You know, because I guess they know how to combat the patriots. And as you might expect, and as you would glean, what would probably be the result of Israel and the United States bombing of Iran, it looks like the bill is just about past the Iranian parliament, where they are going to increase their defense spending. Gee, why would they do that? You know? And I'll tell you, I hope they do, and I hope they do it quickly, and I hope they, I'll tell you what, and if Donald Trump starts to do some nasty things, about, giving more different types of weapons to Ukraine or whoever, it really makes you wonder how the relationship is to Russia. And I wonder if Russia has anything like S-500s, air defense systems, or something like that Iran might want to have. So, reciprocity, I guess you would call that. Anyhow, how long is this video? It's about an hour. So anyway, I hope you guys like this video. That's about all I have for right now. And like I said, I was jogging, so look at this friggin' grass. I can't believe it. And I'm in Belarus. Oh, I'm talking bad about Berlin, and now it's the same thing here. I'll bet it be mowed today. Matter of fact, I saw a guy doing a mower in one area. But anyhow, maybe I'll do a video later. We'll see what happens. I have visitors here from France, Paris. Matter of fact, they do like Belarus better than they do France by quite a bit. So anyway, that's all I have to put out right now. Maybe I'll put something out later. I don't know. And again, thanks for the nice comments, you people that put some good comments there. And somebody wrote something, I'll have to mention something about that, that I could have a better channel. Somebody was even telling me that, the guy from France, he's seen my videos and he keeps saying, you could do this, you did that, blah, 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 blah. And one part of the time, it's, I don't want to spend the time, I'm lazy, I can put some more money into it and all that sort of thing. Maybe I should do something. And then I'm starting to wonder, he was actually pointing out to me that I'm actually not that far away from making money on YouTube. I don't know if that's true or not. Anyway, if I am, I can consider that. I tell you what, even if I make $300 a month, that would be incredible. I could do very well. Belarus is not as expensive as a lot of other places, so that would actually be worth it to improve the quality of my videos. So I'll think that over. Again, thanks for joining me, everybody. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.